Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll dive into a very exciting topic, HCM Excellence Spotlight, AMA's award-winning Leading in Action program. This session is eligible for HRCI, SHRM, and ATD professional development credits. Before we dive into today's content, let me tell you about Brennan Hall Group and some incredible opportunities that could accelerate your career. Brennan Hall Group is a leading professional development firm that has been serving learning, talent, and HR executives worldwide for more than 30 years. We've advanced the growth and performance of millions of employees and leaders through our cloud-based platform, delivering evidence-based research, data, and certification programs that empower organizations to achieve excellence in every area of human capital management. Our impact spans more than 10 million employees and executives globally, supported by our comprehensive research library, strategic insights, and prestigious awards program. Below is a sample of the organizations we are proud to partner with. We have incredible learning and networking opportunities coming up. We have two BRIC events scheduled for this year, our AI Summit on October 15th, and our Leadership Summit on November 17th and 18th. For more information, please visit our website, brennanhall.com, and click under the Events tab. All details and applications for everything I've mentioned will be available in a PDF you'll receive within 24 hours after the webinar. I'm excited to share more about Brennan Hall Group Excellence Awards, 4 prestigious programs recognizing organizational excellence. The Technology Awards recognize solution providers in learning, talent management, and workforce technologies, launching April 20th with a September 4th deadline. Our Education Technology Awards celebrate K through 12, universities, and education associations transforming learning, following the same April to September timeline. The Excellence in Action Awards spotlight organizations of all sizes that prioritize employee voices and create people-centric cultures. The 2026 program will be launching in May. And finally, the HCM Awards honor innovation in training, learning, and HR. This program launched January 5th and has an April 10th deadline. Whether you're an HR team, technology provider, educational institution, or organization committed to employee engagement, there's a Brennan Hall Group Award designed to recognize your achievements and elevate your reputation in the industry. Speaking of celebrating our award winners, we host our annual awards gala at the HCM Excellence Conference. In addition to this celebration of excellence, the conference offers 4 days of sessions packed with research insights, proven frameworks, and award-winning organizations sharing their best practices on stage and throughout numerous networking events. As a reminder, our conference is only 2 weeks away and registration is still open, and we hope you'll join us February 9th through 12th in West Palm Beach, Florida. Before we move on, I would like to ask a poll question. So I'm going to launch it now. We would like to know, based off the information I just went over, what would you like to learn more about? Is it our Institute membership, our awards program, the 2026 HCM Excellence Conference, our AI Summit, or our Leadership Summit?
I'm sure everybody is trying to select all of them at once, and I can certainly say that talking with 2 award winners here that are also attending the conference, I would imagine they would at least be clicking those 2 radio dials.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your response. I'm going to end the poll. All right, and now just a few quick things to note. If you have any questions during the webinar, please use the questions panel on your control bar. We'll be answering them throughout the session. We're also recording today's webinar, and you'll receive an email within 24 hours with a link to the recording and a PDF of the slides. Now the chat box is open, so feel free to share your thoughts as we go along. Your input makes this more valuable for everyone. Now I'd like to pass things off to David Forey.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ivy, and welcome to the webinar, Rebecca and Julia.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. We look forward to diving in. One thing that I really love about these webinars is no 2 award winner webinar is the same. So, the stories are always a little different, but the patterns of excellence, typically remain the same. And today we're joined by the American Medical Association team, recipients of the 2025 Excellence Awards for their Leading in Action program. And what stood out for our judges wasn't just the results, it was how thoughtful this program was designed for real people, real work, and very real shift in how employees connect and lead. So Rebecca, I will turn things over to you to get started and tell us where this all began.
Sure. Thank you so much for having us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Keep me honest. Make sure that you can see that. Let's see. Share there. We all good?
Yes.
Yay. All right. So we'll take you on this journey. Again, my name is Becca Benson. I work at the American Medical Association in our organizational development and learning team. I'm joined with my colleague, Julia Meyer, also from the same team. She was there when this program got off the ground, and I have since taken it over and have evolved it over time. So we're both here and excited to share with everyone how we got this going and where we are today. So in today's session, what we're going to cover is how this all started, our program design, results and insights, and then, of course, what's next? What are we looking forward to in 2026? So before we tell you what this program is, we'll dive into how it got started, a little bit of our company's history, and more. So the AMA was founded in 1847 as a national nonprofit organization, and it serves as a unifying voice for our physicians and our employees support physicians to advance the art and science of medicine, improve public health, influence federal and state policy, and support physicians throughout their careers. And our main headquarters is in downtown Chicago, Illinois, and that's where the majority of our employees are assigned. We also have offices in Washington, D.C., and South Carolina. We have about 1,300 employees that sit across 17 business units, 3 teams, and several affiliates. So we've got a small but large organization when you really think about it. So some background information on our program. So in late 2020, our employees identified a need for leadership development. And this came from insights from our recent employee equity and engagement survey. And when we say leadership in this context, we're talking about behaviors and competencies. We're not talking about job titles. And the survey also revealed that employees wanted a stronger sense of community and connection. We also faced a global pandemic, and that was disrupting traditional learning and reduced connection as well. So these were our 2 focus areas. Our employees wanted something that would empower them to lead from where they were. They wanted to be able to influence and collaborate and make decisions with confidence, all while adapting to this remote, rapidly shifting environment that we were in. So those results sparked the question for us: how might we create a learning experience that develops those leadership skills that they're asking for while building that connection that they crave and supporting people across our organization no matter where they are? So the answer to this question became the foundation that evolved into our Leading in Action program, and it pushed us to think about access, about format, and about impact. And most importantly, it reminded us that leadership is not just a title, and it's not just reserved for those with those formal titles, but that it's something that we all have an opportunity to grow, to practice, and we can strengthen in different ways.
Thanks, Becca. And I know you're about to dive into some really great content. And I just wanted to pause and say thank you. You talked about 2020 and how, things changed for your own organization. But at the same time, you were helping so many organizations deal with the pandemic yourselves. So, quite a noble purpose in AMA's background. And almost every strong submission that we see from the award standpoint It doesn't begin with content or curriculum. It's that clear moment of disruption or change that forces leaders to rethink how development actually happens. So with that context, Rebecca, can't wait to see the rest of the presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's a great point that you make, David, because yes, while internally our employees are asking for this, we are absolutely hands-on working with physicians who are in the trenches, who are dealing with horrific things happening in the world and trying to make sense of this pandemic, something we haven't seen before. So it was an incredible journey, I think, in so many different ways. But of course, once we understood the need from our employees' perspective, we focused on designing that learning experience that fit how AMA employees were now having to work and adapt. So our strategy had to be something that was flexible and could be embedded. We didn't want learning to feel totally separate from the workday, but that it could be something that just integrated into daily flow. And we wanted it to be something that folks could easily access and then go back and just apply in their day-to-day. We wanted it to be something quick and easy. And our goal was simple. We want to help employees build leadership skills and strengthen connections without a heavy time investment. We wanted something that would bring about meaningful development in a way that's realistic given our point in history. You could say that we wanted a way where employees could feel like they were leading in action, hence the title of our program. Now, our program combines a bunch of different things. So we have expert research, we have leadership coaching support, we have practical tip sheets, and most importantly, we have peer-led small groups. And we incorporate AMA's values and leadership competencies to ensure that our employees are growing in ways that reinforces our culture as well as advances our mission. That's important. Leading in action is grounded in the 70-20-10 development framework. We'll dive into this a little bit as we go into these resources more deeply, but we say 10% of learning comes through formal means. So for our program, that comes through our tip sheets. 20% is through social learning. That comes from our peer discussions and our leadership coaching. And 70% is experiential learning. So taking what you've learned and applying it, doing it, testing it. And we say that comes from what employees take back to their roles. And for our facilitators, what they sit back and reflect on about these sessions. So again, we'll dive into each of those experiences here as we share the resources. Now, our employees have different ways that they want to develop as leaders. So those skills that we can think about might be confidence, burnout, strategic thinking, all different ways. So leading in action offers two paths for our employees to develop those skills. They can either register to become a small group facilitator, or they can sign up as a participant. So we have a couple of things, and I know, David, you said we'd be providing resources following the session. So if you want to take a look at this, but this is kind of some key development areas for each of those roles in this program. Tip sheets. So going back to that 70-20-10 development framework, the tip sheet is where we start. So this includes research-backed information. And this is what our peer facilitators will use to guide our small group discussions. These go beyond definitions and simple summaries. We embed reflection questions, checklists, interactive components to help employees deepen their understanding and start applying the concepts right away. We work with AMA leadership, our HR business partners, our executive leadership coach, and we informally poll our employees to identify those topics that are most relevant to our culture and fit within our values and our mission. Then, facilitator coaching. So those employees that want to grow their facilitation skills, they receive pre-session support from our expert coach. So Julie and I partner closely with Marita Decker. She's an executive leadership coach from Future Course. She has been a stellar partner throughout this program journey. We've worked really closely to evolve this, to get this program where it is today. Now, during these prep sessions, facilitators walk through the flow of the discussion using that tip sheet. They talk through tips and tricks for engagement, practice strategies for redirecting and refocusing the group if needed, so that these peer facilitators who might be stepping into something new for the first time feel confident and ready to lead. They then will receive additional tips. They'll receive coaching notes that they can use for their session. They're encouraged to also reach out to each other for support as they plan what they're going to do with peers. From there, the facilitators will lead a 50-minute small group session with colleagues. These are virtual peer-led conversations, and they're really at the heart of the Leading in Action program. Our peer facilitators are creating that safe, authentic space where employees can learn from each other, reflect together, and build stronger leadership practices as a group. We close the sessions, our facilitators close them with action planning, which is that experiential part of the framework. So everyone goes around and shares 1 or 2 ideas that they are going to take back and apply in their role. And at the AMA, we encourage our employees to have development plans and to actively be tracking to these development plans throughout the year. So some of these things that come out of these sessions can go into their personal development plans. What they choose are often simple self-directed actions that then translate the conversation into real life practice. But of course, our facilitators also engage in experiential learning. They go back and have a short debrief session with our executive leadership coach, Marita Decker, after. And this is meant to be a supportive conversation. It focuses on reflection, not evaluation. So our facilitators are exploring what felt effective, what they've learned about themselves, and how they might want to continue growing this skill. Finally, all of our tip sheets and coaching notes are self-serve. So even outside of this formal program with formal coaching, all of our employees can find them on our intranet. They can download them and use them for personal development. Managers often will take them and use them to guide team development conversations and support team learning.
I love how practical that is. And one thing, and when I reviewed your award submission, is there's a clear shift away from the more training, which a lot of people try to throw at people, towards that better design experience that fits into the real workflow. So allowing a manager to walk through your tip sheet with an employee is certainly helpful, but these programs really respected the time. They reduce friction and still develop impact to the top. So, if you could walk us through how you approach the design of leading an action with that reality in mind, looking at the results and the measurement aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been incredibly powerful. It's less Julia and I having to do the heavy lifting and really allowing the employees to do it and to open up the conversations and the dialogue. And we've got some great results to share from that. Over the years, and even as we head into this year, our results have remained remarkably steady across each cycle of Leading in Action. So it tells us that the program is really meeting a need. Satisfaction remains at about a 4.8 out of 5, with the vast majority of employees feeling motivated to continue learning about whatever topic we were on, recommending the program to others. Many participants report increased confidence in the topic, and 80% come back for additional sessions in that calendar year, which is a strong signal of impact. We have a lot of lean teams here, so finding time to incorporate something like this in a busy workday just really tells us that it's important that people are prioritizing time to come to these topics and talk about them with their peers. On the facilitator side, on our peer facilitator side, We're seeing meaningful growth as well. Our facilitators are sharing that each session is increasing their confidence and comfort leading groups. And as we move forward, Julie and I are digging even deeper into the participant and facilitator experience so that we can really learn more about what's driving engagement and how we can continue to support it. In addition, beyond the numbers, we have a lot of powerful themes. And so just clicking through, here are just some of the many positive reflections straight from facilitators and participants that highlight their experience and what it has meant to them and what they're getting out of it. So what we're seeing are a few clear themes, both from the data and both from what folks are self-reporting is, employees really appreciate the accessible virtual format. They like that there are different times and days to choose from. I don't know that I mentioned this earlier, but our facilitators, depending on the number of facilitators we have registering, that is the number of sessions we have. So if we have 10 facilitators, there's 10 sessions. And they can pick the day and times that work best for them, and then employees can sign up to participate. There are also small, diverse groups, so we try to limit the group size to 10 or less. We also work to avoid reporting relationships, so manager and direct reports, so folks feel that they can share openly about whatever's happening, around decision making or managing up, some of those topics that might be a little bit tougher with those reporting relationships. And we bring together people from all levels and business units. So earlier we mentioned we have 17 business units. We've had every single business unit represented in different sessions. We've had folks from VPs, it spans the gamut. Participants say they feel safe opening up, that the topics and facilitators really create that engaging experience. So they like the peer-to-peer connection. And one of the most encouraging signs of impact is what has been happening after our formal program. Several of the groups are choosing to stay connected. So they're creating their own Microsoft Teams chats. They're meeting for informal coffees. They're trying to stand up like a part 2, continuing the dialogue, checking in on each other and their progress on their action items. So that organic momentum is speaking to how meaningful this experience has become for employees.
Well, I obviously, since you've won this award and as things have progressed since 2020, I know that the award that you won is just from last year, but there's always a future. What does that roadmap look like, and how are we going to evolve this program over time?
It's a great question. I think there are so many possible paths for expansion and taking this beyond. Our focus currently stays rooted in what matters. And our 2 main areas are helping our employees build leadership skills and fostering those connections across the AMA. So we are continuing to develop topics that meet our employees where they are. We're finalizing our topics for 2026 and getting ready to roll out our first wave in March. But we also want to make sure that anything we do reflects AMA's values. So we are always listening for feedback. We're constantly iterating on this program because we want to refine it and evolve the experience, keep our employees engaged. This program represents our team's ongoing commitment to building a culture where inclusivity, collaboration, and learning become part of the everyday work. And I know I've been going on a lot, but Julia, you've been part of this program for many years as well. And I know that I've inherited it and have been overseeing it. But from your perspective, what are some things that you might want to add here, or things you've seen evolve over your years?
Thank you, Becca. So this program initially was started for people managers. We called it Managing in Action. And one of the big evolutions was extending this to our entire organization. So as an effort to to build more of an inclusive environment for folks, to increase belonging, to offer leadership development for all employees, since we really view our employees all as leaders as opposed to simply those who are managing or leading others. So that was one big evolution of this program. And then another one, which I think we will continue to work on building out, is working with our business unit leaders to bring this program to build team-based learning offerings for their groups. So building culture of learning is something that is important to us in our organizational development and learning team, and something we are constantly trying to bring into our organization and work with our senior leaders to build within their team. So I imagine that we'll continue efforts to do just that.
Excellent. Yep, we're always getting creative with this program for sure. And for those of you who have joined us today, we have created a PDF checklist for you. So if you're interested in starting your own peer-led sessions, or you want to evolve something that you've already put into practice, this checklist outlines essential steps and best practices to help get you started. So in just a moment, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, but we'll also have that available for you post-session.
That's certainly appreciated. I know a lot of people will be able to utilize that. I saw it earlier, and it's very practical. Jump straight in. Now, we do have some time for questions. If anybody wants to write in to either the chat box or the Q&A, please go ahead and do that. But one thing that I was noticing is that you really sparked that continued connection and momentum beyond the formal experience, and that things have evolved. Both of you mentioned it. I would love to hear, what surprised you the most as this program took off? Was it that people wanted to stay involved, or was there something else that maybe surprised you when things were really taking off?
I definitely think, from my perspective, I think it was that folks wanted to continue the conversation, because I think over the years, we have really started to develop our organization into more of a proactive learning development type culture. We really want to embed that and have people keep that at the forefront. So to see them come to a session and not just take it in as a 10% formal learning opportunity, I'm looking at this tip sheet and then I'm going to file it away, but really wanting to continue to have conversations around these topics and finding that they can embed them into their everyday work and take them beyond just that session, that moment, was surprising but inspiring too. Because again, it's been, being part of the AMA has been a interesting time over these last 5 years, so that folks are really not only supporting our physicians but also trying to take care of themselves, I think is wonderful.
If you can kind of reflect, going back to the beginning, is there any one decision that you made early on that had the biggest impact for the program's success? Of course, I know there's lots of decisions along the way, but was there one thing that you can share with the audience that was like a big factor that you feel like made the biggest impact?
Oh, Julia, do you have one from the very beginning? I can think of one from recent, but maybe there's something from early on.
I think our decision to extend it beyond people managers to the entire organization was a powerful one in terms of our efforts to build inclusion, but also we see so many of the participants, both the facilitators and those who are joining the peer-led discussions, who are individual contributors. So it really gives them the opportunity to develop leadership skills. We have a leadership competency framework in our organization that's targeted to individual contributors, people managers, directors, VPs, and SVPs, and they could really apply this program and take it back with them to continue building their leadership skills and behaviors. So I think that was one really big decision that has made an impact. How about you, Becca? Anything you want to add?
I would say for me, I think one of the biggest impacts too is evolving the facilitator experience. And so we would have them come to this coaching with the tip sheet and they would receive information, and then they would go out and apply it. And since then, we've evolved, we've created tips and tricks, we've, opened up space for them to connect ahead of time if they'd like to get questions answered, because we didn't start this program as a facilitator training experience. We started it for leadership skills and building connections. But in that, we're finding folks really want to expand on those facilitator skills, expand on leading conversations. And so we've been doing a lot more to help prepare folks for that.
Wonderful. And if we could ask just one more question, which metric or outcome mattered most to your stakeholders, and how did you make the case for its value? I know that you showed some great ROI examples on your slide, but which one mattered most for your stakeholders?
I would say it's probably the overall satisfaction with the program, that when folks come, they're getting out of it what we promised they would get out of it. They're rating the connection high. They're rating the, yes, we're interested in these topics and we want to continue learning. So at the end, we're meeting our goals. And that's what this program was intended to do, was to go back to that employee equity and engagement survey and address some of those pain points that had come up for us.
Perfect. So I know we're just a tad over time. We try to make these short and impactful. I encourage everyone on the call to look up Julia and Becca, connect with them. There's also a survey at the end of this. If you have a question for one of them, or both of them, I should say, feel free to drop it in the survey. We'll forward it along to them. And if you are at the conference, I believe both of them will be there. So you could also ask them questions live and in person in 2 weeks, February 9th through 12th. In West Palm Beach. I know you all are going to be happy to get out of the cold, come down to South Florida and enjoy some nice weather. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you all for joining us. And if you guys want to, maybe close us out with final thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I mean, we really enjoy this program. So if you are interested in starting your own peer-led leadership program, please find us at the conference. Again, yeah, you can reach out to us. We enjoy chatting, and looking forward to seeing you all in Florida. It's been a little colder here in the Midwest.
Thank you for the opportunity today. It's been an honor to be here with you, and we hope to continue the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.